at the very beginning of this episode, Gael ends up pulling up on Bobby while he's in the middle of hosting an event. Like, he's literally on the microphone on stage trying to get everybody turned up, and she ends up pulling him off the stage and telling him how fake he is because he didn't show up to her grand opening in last week's episode. And honestly, I don't know why she's mad that Bobby and a bunch of other people didn't end up showing up to the grand opening, because it was a complete hot mess. Flo ended up showing up with her new boyfriend, and then Marlon ended up showing up with his side chick, and he had his side chick expose Flo for having a sugar daddy for all these years, and so it was messy anyway. But she starts yelling about how everybody she invited didn't end up showing up, and she's trying to show everybody that she's changed. Now, we all know that Gael has not changed, and we know that she doesn't really want to change. She's just being messy. And Bobby ended up checking her really quickly for the way that she was coming at him, because he told her that she needs to take accountability for why nobody wants to be around her, because she's basically rubbed everybody the wrong way. And so she says that she wants to prove that she's changed. So she tells him that she wants him to help her put together a group trip, and she wants it to be a lot of fun. And Bobby's skeptical because he knows what happened the last time they all went on a group trip. There was so much drama in the DR last year, and Gael played a huge part in it, especially because she was all over Allan, knowing that Amara was there. So he's skeptical, but he told her that he would help her, but if she ruins it, he said that he's done with her. Now, in this episode, Shay ends up going to meet up with her mother to let her know how her date went with this guy Mike in last week's episode. And look, her mother was not feeling him the minute that Shay told her his name, because he calls himself Mike Nasty. And I feel her mother on this, because as soon as I saw his name in last week's episode, I was like, no, why is Shay even entertaining this guy? Why would you want to entertain a guy who has a nickname that has nasty in it? Like, that's an immediate red flag. And her mother was not feeling him at all. She started asking Shay a bunch of questions about him, and Shay said that she does like him. He's not her usual type, but she said that she wanted to try something different. But she said that her only red flag about him was it seemed like he was giving the perfect answer to all of her questions, which is definitely something that's a red flag, because it seems like he probably rehearsed these questions before. I'm not saying that he's a bad guy, but I don't know if he's a good guy either. And Shay's mother really wasn't feeling him when Shay told her that he owns a bunch of different businesses in different countries. That was a red flag for her, because she feels like he's probably doing some type of scamming or something illegal. I don't know if he is, but that's what her mother was thinking when she told her what he does for a living. I will say, though, Shay is right. Her mother seems to always want, her son Emjay to be in a relationship, and she seems to be all for him getting back together with Amara after the way that things happen between the two of them. But yeah, she seems to always want Shay to be single. I do agree with her mother, though, that she should be by herself for a little bit. Like, she literally just got out of a relationship with Fabo, and so I feel like her trying to jump back into dating right away, to me, isn't really the right thing to do, and I don't really feel like she's even over Fabo. Listen, Amara had me shaking my head this entire episode, because she sat there and allowed Allan and his mother to play in her face. Allan's mother ends up coming to visit Amara in this episode, and she starts selling Amara a dream. She starts telling Amara that Allan loves her and wants to be with her, and Amara's sitting there eating it up. She did admit that she feels like Allan doesn't really show her that he loves her and wants to be with her, but she has a glimmer of hope that his mother is telling the truth, and I don't believe that she's telling the truth. I think she's lying on purpose, and she's selling Amara a dream. Amara seems to be more interested in hearing what Allan's mother has to say rather than listening to what her own mother has to say, because her mother was the only one that was making any sense. She told Amara to not fall for it, that Allan doesn't love her, because if he did, he would show that he did, and he wouldn't continuously disrespect her. He also basically left her in the dark, according to Amara, because she claims that he doesn't do anything for his children, and also claims that he barely ever comes to see them. Amara's mother also said that Allan will never leave his wife. Even if he says that he will, he won't do it, because he hasn't done it yet, and Amara has 2 children by him. And Amara gets into her confessional and says that she understands what her mother is saying, but she hopes that what Allan's mother is saying is true. So that means she's still in love with this man. She hasn't gotten over him, and she still wants to be with him. I don't understand why she would want to after the way that he's disrespected her in numerous different ways, but okay. Trina and Swerve end up having a conversation in this episode, because Trina says that there's been tension in their relationship since they came back from going to the book tour that she was doing. Swerve seems to have a really big issue with everybody asking Trina questions about their marriage, their relationship, and questions about him. He doesn't like it because he feels like people are trying to put things in Trina's head about him. And so he said that because he feels some type of way about their relationship being public now, because everybody's in their business, he feels like he needs to seek some type of counseling to deal with it. And I do think that Swerve has a lot of things to hide. I don't think that he was completely genuine when he got with Trina. However, I do think that it was good that he said that he wanted to go to counseling to work on some things, because he does need to get some counseling. I don't agree with him going to a pastor, though. I think that's a good start, but I think he probably needs some therapy, so he should be going to a licensed therapist. But I will say him going to the pastor was a good first start. Now, Allan ends up showing up to Amara's house, but Amara is not there, but her mother is, and her mother ends up immediately checking Allan as soon as he comes to the door. She tells him that his mother ended up showing up, selling Amara a dream, telling her that he wants to be with her and that he's in love with her. And Amara's mother tells him that she wants to know if it's true or not, because if it's not true, then he needs to tell Amara that so that she can finally move on with her life. And he was getting really defensive. I don't believe that he told his mother that he was in love with Amara. I don't think he's in love with her at all. He wouldn't even say that to her mother. So to me, if he can't even tell her mother that he's in love with her, then I don't believe that he actually is. He was just getting really defensive, as if Amara's mother was saying something wrong to him when she wasn't saying anything wrong. She was just telling the truth. Allan would not answer any of Amara's mother's questions, but he did end up asking her where Amara was because he wanted to talk to her, and she immediately tells him that she's with Emjay. She is with Emjay. She's at Emjay's event, but she's not with Emjay to be with him. But Allan seemed to get really pissed off about it. I don't think he was pissed off because he was jealous. I think he was pissed off because he just doesn't like Emjay, because I really don't feel like, Allan is genuine with Amara. I don't feel like he wants to be with her. So at Emjay's event, he basically ends up inviting everybody. Bobby's there, Miami Tip is there, Pinky Doll is there, and there's obviously some tension between Amara and Pinky Doll while they're there, because the two of them ended up getting into it when Ray J tried to cause a bunch of mess between the two of them. So Amara and Pinky Doll end up at the same table. Everybody gathers up together to talk, and basically Amara and Pinky Doll start talking to each other, and Amara admits that her and Pinky Doll got off on the wrong foot because Ray J was being messy. So I feel like Amara was handling this situation maturely, because she put the blame where it needed to be, which was on Ray J, because he purposely tried to get the two of them to beef with each other by telling, Pinky Doll that she was coming to an audition for the role, but also telling Amara that she got the role and that it wasn't an audition, it was a rehearsal, and that was the reason why the two of them ended up getting into it. However, Pinky Doll still has a problem with Amara because she feels like Amara was being shady to her at the audition, so she starts calling Amara out of her name. She calls her a bitch, and Amara doesn't like that, so the two of them start going back and forth with each other, and I'm sorry. I started laughing at the fact that everybody brings up the fact that Pinky Doll is online eating hot dogs in order to make money. I know there's a lot of people that do that and they make a lot of money off of it. I just think it's funny that Amara brought it up, and Ray J also ended up bringing it up when him and her ended up getting into a back and forth. Pinky Doll is just rubbing a lot of people the wrong way, and this is her first season on the show, and this is her first time being in Miami, and she basically gave herself a really bad reputation, and she ends up getting put out of the party because things almost get physical between her and Amara. And while Amara is in the middle of getting into it with Pinky Doll, Allan actually ends up showing up, and she's confused as to why he's there, so she starts questioning him as to why he showed up to this event, because it's Emjay's event, so why would he show up to it? And he said that Amara's mother was the one that told him. So Emjay sees that Allan is there, and obviously he feels some type of way about it because he doesn't like him and he doesn't understand why he's at his event. And Shay seems to have a bigger issue with it than Emjay does, because she starts telling Bobby and Miami Tip that she doesn't even understand why Amara is entertaining him after all the colorist and disrespectful comments he made towards Amara last season. And I completely agree with Shay. I don't understand why Amara would want to deal with him more than just as a co-parenting situation. She seems to want more with him, and I don't understand why, but you can't be more mad at somebody than she is, and she was the one that was disrespected. If she's okay with it, then everybody else needs to be okay with it too. And Shay starts going off on Allan, yelling things out to him, and Amara's trying to get Shay to be quiet because she feels like Shay needs to stay out of it, and Shay could stay out of it. However, Allan also disrespected her brother and her family, so obviously she feels some type of way about him too. It just seemed like Amara was doing too much protecting of Allan when he doesn't do the same thing for her. I'm not saying that she had to let him get beat up and jumped by people, but I also feel like she shouldn't have been overly protecting him the way that she was too. Security ended up making sure that nothing ended up getting physical, because Shay's man Mike was also getting ready to take off on Allan because of the way that he was acting, and so everything got broken up and separated. And then Amara and Allan start having a one-on-one conversation, and she starts breaking down crying to him, expressing her feelings. She said that she loved him, she's always loved him and wanted to be with him, but he keeps playing in her face. He won't tell her that he doesn't want to be with her, and he won't say that he does want to be with her. So basically he's leaving her lingering, and she's upset about it because she wants to be able to move on with her life. If he doesn't want to be with her, she wants him to just let her go completely, and he wouldn't give her a definitive answer there either, so he is playing in her face. But the reason why I got secondhand embarrassment is because we know all of the comments that he made to her last season, all the colorist, racist comments that he made towards her. I don't understand why she would want to to still be with him after that. And then she said last season when she was talking to one of the ladies on the show, she said that while she was pregnant, one of his friends actually came up to her and told her that he doesn't even like black women, so I don't understand why she would want to have another child with him. Then she started saying that she doesn't want to be a side chick to him because he does have a wife, and it's like, girl, you're already a side chick to him. You had a baby with him while he was married, and he exposed that you knew he was married the entire time, and he claims that he's happily married even though he's cheating on his wife and having babies outside of his marriage. So I don't know, I just feel like it's messy. I feel like Amara should just let him go herself. I understand how she feels because sometimes men will lead you on, but I kind of feel like Allan isn't leading her on because all the disrespectful things that he said to her proves that he doesn't really want to be with her. And she was saying that she was trying to get him to see the value in her, and it's like she needs to see the value in herself and not try to wait for him to see value in her. Like, to me, that's crazy. I just feel like she needs to move on. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Love and Hip Hop Miami. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.